I've always really enjoyed looking at mythologies that are adjacent to the core text, because these often have a tendency to be a blend of theology and folklore. I just think it's fascinating to zoom in a little bit closer and look at some of these transitional characters between the local mythologies and the institutional churches that replaced them. And I'd like to share one such story with you today. The story tells of a giant, dog-headed man from the far reaches of the world whose name was Reprobus. Through his life, Reprobus served many masters and ultimately decided each one was unworthy as he sought to serve the greatest king in all the land. Upon discovery that so many of these great and powerful kings truly feared the devil, he sought to serve the devil. And in serving the devil, he found that what the devil truly feared was Christ. And so he sought to serve Christ in the form of using his giant size and incredible strength to help people cross a dangerous river. Till one day a small child appears before Reprobus and asks for help crossing the river. Reprobus, of course, helps him, but with each step the boy seems to get heavier and heavier. They reach the other side, and when Reprobus comments on the incredible weight of the child says, "You have not just carried the weight of the world, but he who created it." He reveals himself to be the Christ child, and he baptizes Reprobus and rechristens him to Saint Christopher, the Christ bearer, the patron saint of travelers. Now, Saint Christopher is not a canonized saint. For one, he lived and died long before the official process of formal canonization was made. And two, there are some questions about the veracity of a story of a giant man with a dog head who carried the Christ child across a river. They're not sure he really existed. But it really doesn't matter if he literally walked the earth or not, because the story is real, inasmuch as any story that impacts our lives is real. Because the story of Saint Christopher is not the story of a man who helped a child cross the river. It is a story of an outcast and reprobate from the far reaches of the world that sought greater meaning in life and found it not in conquest but in service. It's the story of every one of us who's borne an immense weight and been transformed by the experience. It's the story of everybody held at the fringes of society who still finds the time and space for love. Over the years, and especially in Western European depictions, they've removed the dog head from Saint Christopher and made him more anglicized, which is interesting because all evidence points to him being from, or at least having died in, what is now modern Turkey. Like, the story goes that he was a Canaanite. In fact, one of the reasons that I guess they believe that he was depicted as having a dog head is mistranslation of Canaanite as canine. And Canaan would have been that stretch of like Palestine to Syria to southern Turkey. So that's kind of a tragic double whammy, and honestly why I insist on imagining him with a dog head. But what about you? What does it mean to bear the weight of the world? What does St. Christopher mean to you? Did you learn anything? I hope you found this interesting. Thank you for listening.